Hi everyone, and today we're going to be doing a session titled Maximizing Diversity. So we're going to be looking at a few strategies on how you as an individual can encourage diverse diverse thinking and diverse acceptance around you, and how just doing the small and simple things can actually make a big difference to the people around you. So objectives for today's session is we can look at the role of or the effect of mutual respect. We're going to look at expressing empathy for yourself and others, and a few strategies to promote inclusion. So the first topic we're going to look at is mutual respect. So but respect is a widely used term, and sometimes a cause of conflict or inclusion depending on how a person has earned or given respect to others. So, if somebody may be expecting a lot of respect from other people, but they're not providing a mutual respect or respect in turn, then that can lead to conflict. So, a person who respects others, regardless of their differences, is usually more inclusive and tends to gain respect from others be better. And respect can also be demonstrated through how a person communicates with another person, the actions they take, and how other people observe them interacting with others. Respect is sometimes slow to gain but easily lost, so workers should ensure they behave professionally with all staff members and clients. So, like I said there, the actions you take. So while communication does play a role in gaining respect and providing respect, giving respect, the the actions you take tend to speak more volumes. They tend to be bigger parts of your communication. So if you may talk about accepting and promoting diversity, but if you don't demonstrate that, basically people are not going to buy it. So other people's observations of you tends to be one of the biggest demonstrators of the respect that you're showing, and vice versa. So empathy is a bit of it's a word that's used a lot, but also one that tends to be confused with sympathy. They're two very different things. So the main thing is we'll focus on empathy, and and rather than showing sympathy just because someone's different from you is actually quite discriminatory. You're trying to so the aim of empathy is to show that you understand another person's point of view. You're allowed to disagree with their point of view and so on, but it's about demonstrating that you understand and you know what their point of view is. So empathy is being able to see an issue or situation from another person's perspective. So you seek to understand another person's feelings, opinions, and attitudes to a certain topic. To effectively understand another person's view requires you to communicate and ask about another person's viewpoint. It's important when expressing empathy to remain objective without placing your own view on a situation or without asking leading questions. Empathy is also commonly confused with sympathy. Sympathy is different. Sympathy is where you show remorse for another person's situation, while empathy is showing you understand or trying to understand their point of view. So, while there's nothing wrong with showing sympathy, sometimes it can come across the wrong way. What you're trying to do is gain an understanding or show an understanding of another person's background or otherness and person's view. And like I said, you are allowed to disagree with other people's views as long as you do it properly. Another person's view might be anti-discriminate, might not, might be very discriminatory to others. So you can understand maybe why, maybe something has happened in upbringing, and you can show understanding. But at the same point, you could point out that you don't agree with their view, and that's showing empathy because you're showing you understand their view, and but you're also demonstrating your view. And if you do it the right way, you tend to be more inclusive. It does depend on the other person as well, obviously, but that's kind of the theory. Whereas if you showed sympathy, you and they perhaps have a view that is not one that you agree with, it makes it very hard for you to disagree with their view if you're trying to be too sympathetic with their views. And that might cause conflict with others who are being discriminated against. So empathy is a good objective way of understanding another person's point of view and keeping things inclusive. So the last one we look at is just inclusion. Inclusion is a combination of actions or strategies with the goal of ensuring that all individuals feel that they have the opportunity to express their views, make contributions, and are treated fairly. So it's quite a wordy definition there. The main thing to remember is that inclusion is it's more of a verb. So it's not just something that happens, it's something you have to do to make something happen. So I've put together a couple of examples of how you can encourage inclusion either by yourself or with your team. So for example, common understanding is something you want to look for. So common understanding between everyone is a major contributing factor to ensuring an inclusive environment. However, just because there are differences does not mean that inclusion cannot occur. Where there are differences, they need to be identified and actions taken to ensure there is full understanding of these differences and possible reasons and impacts. Accommodation is an important step where a problem-solving approach is used to find solutions to ensure that differences in views and actions are able to occur and any advantages to differences are maximized. Cultural safety is an important part of inclusion where people should feel safe in expressing their culture and are able to partake in cultural practices such as accessing prayer rooms without fear of discrimination. That's pretty much it for today's session, so just short and sharp. Just go back to the objectives. So the things we looked at today, the three topics were mutual respect, what this means and how to give and obtain respect. We looked at how to express empathy and the difference between empathy and sympathy. And we looked at a few different ways to promote inclusion. So that's pretty much today's session.